What if I told you? One man in the Bible did something no other human has ever done. He walked on water. Not in a vision. Not in a dream. Not in a miracle performed for him. He actually stepped out of a boat, onto a raging sea, and walked. But just seconds later, he began to sink. Why? And here is the real question. Are you making the exact same mistake today? Stay with me. Because this story might completely change the way you see faith, fear, and following God. The disciples had just witnessed a massive miracle. Jesus had fed 5,000 people with only 5 loaves and 2 fish. But then something strange happened. Jesus told the disciples to get into a boat and cross the sea without him. Meanwhile, he went alone to pray. Soon the night grew dark, and the sea turned violent. The Bible says in Gospel of Matthew 14 verse 24. The boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. These were experienced fishermen. They knew storms. But this storm was different. Hours passed. Exhaustion set in. Fear crept in. And then, out on the water, they saw something walking toward them. Imagine being there. Pitch black night. Waves crashing. Wind howling. And suddenly, a figure is walking across the water toward your boat. The disciples did what most of us would do. They panicked. The Bible says in Gospel of Matthew 14 verse 26. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and cried out in fear. But then a voice cut through the storm. Calm, strong, familiar. Jesus said, "Take courage. It is I, don't be afraid." Matthew 14 verse 27. And that's when Peter did something shocking. Peter didn't just calm down. He made a crazy request. Peter said, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." Matthew 14 verse 28. Think about that. He didn't ask Jesus to stop the storm. He didn't ask Jesus to get in the boat. He asked to step into the impossible. And Jesus responded with just one word. Come. No explanation. No instructions. Just come. And Peter did something none of the other disciples dared to do. He stepped out of the boat. Picture this moment. One leg over the boat. The other shaking. Waves crashing beneath him. Every human instinct screaming. This is impossible. But Peter placed his foot on the water. And it held him. Then another step. Then another. Peter was walking on water toward Jesus. For a moment, Peter was doing the impossible. But then, everything changed. The Bible reveals the exact moment things went wrong. Gospel of Matthew 14 verse 30 says, "But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and, beginning to sink, cried out, 'Lord, save me.'" Notice something powerful. Peter didn't sink because the storm got worse. The storm had been there the whole time. He sank because his focus shifted. First he looked at Jesus. Then he looked at the wind. And the moment fear replaced faith, he started to sink. How many of us are doing the same thing? We step out in faith. But the moment we see the storm, the bills, the diagnosis, the rejection, we start sinking. But here's the beautiful part. Jesus didn't watch Peter drown. The Bible says in Gospel of Matthew 14 verse 31, immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Immediately. No delay. No lecture first. Just rescue. Then Jesus said something powerful. "You of little faith. Why did you doubt?" Not no faith. Just little faith. Even small faith had been enough to walk on water. Here's the truth most people miss. Peter wasn't the failure in this story. The other 11 disciples never left the boat. Peter failed. But he experienced a miracle. So let me ask you something. Are you sinking? Or are you still sitting safely in the boat? Because sometimes the greatest miracles happen after you step into the storm. If this message spoke to you, comment below. Keep your eyes on Jesus. And if you want more powerful Bible stories explained like this, make sure you subscribe, because the next story might be the one God uses to change your life.